Hello and welcome. My name is Megan Lucky and this is A Lucky Life. Come along with me as I try and get to know myself better and hopefully help you get to know yourself better too. Hello, hope everyone had a happy Thanksgiving. I'm here with my friend Carly. Say hi, Carly.
Hey, everyone.
And we saw the full moon this week and we thought it would be a perfect episode to do a little full moon ritual. So we both wrote down 3 things that we want to release from our lives and 3 things that we want to bring in. So we're going to read them and talk to you guys about them. But we also just saged and cleansed ourselves to kind of get that process going and get ready. But yeah, I'm so excited to share those with you guys and let you guys meet my wonderful my wonderful friend Carly. So I met Carly in high school actually, and she had moved from a different state. And I remember thinking like she'd already found like a friend group at first, but I was like, oh my God, like I like this girl. I want her to be my friend when she moved here. And like, how did we first like become friends? Was it class?
I feel like it was class. Yeah.
And, like,
also, do you remember when we like didn't we like all walk into town for something?
Yeah, it was a movie.
Yeah, and I think we walked together and I was like, this girl,
kind of my
I love
memory,
her.
too.
Yeah.
So anyways, we go way back and we've seen each other through lots of ups and downs in life. And I really want, very much so. But I really want this podcast, especially like this new era, to be more other people's stories. And as much as I love learning about myself, talking to the camera alone, I really want it to be more guests and have someone to bounce off of. So anyways, I'm excited to get going. But of course, let's start with a tarot card. Do you want to go first or do you want me to go first? Okay, can you hold this?
Yes, I can.
When we were looking at the full moon this week and realized that it was a full moon, what was the video? What did it say?
So basically it said also like, so weird because we were just talking about like the full moon and then I look on TikTok and it says that they're always listening. That's why. So basically it said if you have your period during this full moon, it means you're extra powerful. And so I was like, Meg, are you on your period? And she's like, oh, I had it last week. And
It's over.
Yeah, it's over. And I was like, so did I. And we were like sad. Like,
I guess we're not powerful.
yeah. And then
so then like that the full moon was that night, so then we woke up the next day because obviously we're having a sleepover party just like the good old days. But I woke up the next day and I was like, Carly, oh my God, and this is sorry graphic like TMI, but I was like, oh my God, I got my period last night. Like, so anyways, sorry, too much information. But I was like, I guess that means I'm powerful. Like that, the universe just wanted to give me a sign because we've been talking about signs. Anyways, so yeah, lunar cycle, menstrual cycle. I don't know how we got here, but let's pull a card. So now we're giving this.
for those wondering, I did not get my period, so still got some work to do.
Oh, the moon. All right, I guess that popped out.
Yeah.
The moon is major arcana too, so that means like it's an urgent message to listen to. Vivid dreams and fears. Oh my God, interesting. And it's also the moon.
Weird.
Not like pick up on that, anyways. Okay. It says, follow the hidden path of light. In many ways, the moon card encompasses the idea of the wild unknown, which is the name of the deck. It is the shadow realm, the place where dreams, fears, and mysteries are born. Much darkness can linger here, and if you aren't careful, this can lead to periods of anxiety and self-doubt, almost as though you've lost your way in a house of mirrors. Many great artists have roamed this inner landscape. It's where imagination and creativity drift freely upon the midnight air, discovering deeper dimensions of your path to your true inner self. Infinite phases of the self illuminated by awareness. Pay attention to your subconscious as it manifests everything that is held within these realms. Well, that's so perfect for like the exercise that we're doing today, because it's really like thinking about all those things. So that's good. That's a really good card and a good message. So, all right, it's your turn.
Okay.
Just shuffle and think about what you want to know. Think about the future. Think about the present, and until you feel done. And if you want to like let one pop out or just take one from the top, you can do that too. Ooh, oh my God, this is such a good card, especially for you. That's perfect. Okay, you hold this now. Okay, hope at last and travel. The Six of Swords is a card indicating a recovery from difficult times. Hope is on the horizon. Things will get better. It's important to rest, revitalize, thank you, and surround yourself with joyful friends. Plan a trip, short or long. Even getting out of town for the weekend will further lift your spirits. I know. Don't you have a trip to Chicago?
Yeah.
Anyways, tremendous insight has been learned to navigate in a new way. The pain experience I literally have chills because it's so spot on. The pain experience has led to clarity on direction. What pattern or experience do you need to move through or away from? Trust deeply and move with what you know is healthy and true for your path. Only your heart will know, and you will move into a new level of beauty in life. I mean, like, that's literally what we've been talking about all weekend. Oh my God.
I think, honestly, that is huge because this has been one of the worst years for me. Yeah. But lately, I've just been feeling like it really is behind me. Like, only good things from here on out.
I was just going to say, like, we were talking about, like, oh, we need to read our tarot cards. I brought my tarot cards and I need to read my tarot cards. And Carly was like, ugh, like the last few times they haven't been good, but I really feel like those are behind me now and I feel like they're going to be good. And I was like, go with that. And like, honestly, they will be. And the bad cards aren't bad because they also like kind of help you get through those times and realize that like there's so much more to learn from those bad times and they clear the way. Sometimes when things go wrong and chapters close, it clears the way for new great things to come in. And like you said, like this has been a hard year for you and you really feel like it needed to happen and now it's behind you and it's going to be so much better.
It is. So. Agreed. Yay. Oh my gosh.
Now let's get into the things that we want to release and that we want to let into our lives. So do you want to start?
Yeah. Do you want to I'll do one and then you do one? Okay, so let's start with what I want to release. My first one, fear of failure. I think this is just something that, everybody struggles with. I have a lot of big changes happening right now, and I'm trying to grow my interior design business, and it's hard to push the feeling of possibly failing down or away and really focus on the successes of it. And so I think that is something that I want to get better at, letting go and not focusing on the negatives.
I have something to say about that too, because my first one, and we'll get into this in a second, is also like releasing those false narratives based on fear, limiting beliefs, comparison. A lot of the time, even like comparing not just you to others, like apples to oranges, but also comparing like where you think you should be. Like, and that's hard too. I have that in here. We knew we were going to be like so aligned on this. But also there's something you said that I think is worth touching on. You said like pushing that down and like trying to like eliminate it and replacing it with like the possibilities. I think there's so much truth to that, and I have that too. Like I want to allow myself to live in like, this is what my therapist literally said today. She was like, allow yourself to like live in your dreams, like live in that dreamland and see how that feels, see how that looks, and then you'll be working towards that. So you're supposed to like lean into the possibilities of what could be. But I also think the pushing down of the fear of failure is also somewhat unrealistic. Like that's always going to be there. Like you said, we're human, like that's normal. But I think it's also about accepting that it's possible too, like, and accepting that like no matter what happens, like you're going to grow and get better and like figure it out, and like instead of letting that fear stop you, letting the possibility propel you, like, and thinking more about what could be instead of what, and just being aware of those patterns, like in our heads, because I said that, like, I want my limiting beliefs, like, for example, scarcity, like thinking there's never enough. And like, I can't do this because I'm not secure enough, or I'm not certain enough on these things, or I don't have enough money, like, and looking at it instead of allowing that abundance and allowing that to be more of, well, what sacrifices could I make to make this happen, and do I really want it bad enough, and how can I evolve and make it happen and make it work, rather than always thinking like, oh, it's never gonna work, I'm always gonna fail anyway, so it's not worth it, and like letting those feelings stop you.
And this is something that I'm gonna touch on in a little bit, but like also failure can be so good. Like you really can learn from failure and gain so much confidence from it. So yes. Okay, but we'll touch on that. Yeah. Okay, so next thing I want to release is,
do you want to do release and then bring in?
Okay.
Like, I feel like mine are like kind of,
let's do it.
Okay,
so something I want to bring in is self-appreciation, talking nicer to myself and acknowledging all of the small victories. I just do feel like I can be really hard on myself. Like I really am my worst enemy. And worst critic. So I want to be better at being aware of those thoughts that I have and turning them around.
Something that I have been talking about on the podcast a little bit is like just taking those moments of like being aware is the biggest first step. And a lot of people are like, oh, like I feel so far from my goals, and like I feel so far in the headspace that I want to be in. And it's like, if you're aware of that, that's huge. And a lot of people don't realize that and don't see that progress. Like being aware of those thought patterns in the first place and being aware that you're too critical on yourself where you need to show a little more compassion is huge. But anyways.
Okay. Wait, you didn't do yours.
Oh yeah. Okay. I'll do mine. Okay. Even though I feel like we kind of did touch on it. So my first thing that I want to release was false narratives based on fear, comparison, and limiting beliefs. And I talked about this with my therapist today too. It's like releasing those narratives of like, for example, you can't finish anything. Like you are not capable. You're going to fail. All these like little voices in my head.
Yes. All right.
Well, so should I also say what I want to bring in? Because I forgot to get to that part. Okay. The narratives that replace those false narratives. So like what we were saying, like the lessons that I'm learning from these things and letting that frame me and put me closer to my path and have that narrative serve me, because the ones based on fear aren't serving me. They're not helping. Even if you think, oh, there's a place for shame, like I promise you, if you replace it with like understanding, you can understand and feel like, okay, I want to do better at this. And like, here's where I can do better, without saying like, this is me, I'm defined by this like failure, and allowing yourself to learn from these things and adjust your behavior, and never like looking at it holistically negative, and holistically like you suck. So I want to replace that with learning the lessons from these failures, or just from these obstacles in life, challenges in life. And also like replacing that comparison to like, oh, where everyone else is or where I need to be with. Okay, like showing myself more compassion, being kind to myself, and seeing the progress, and showing myself compassion that I would to my friends and giving advice. So, and then replacing this again, like I always do this. I always jam everything into one bullet point. But then there's like nothing on these. So and then replacing like those feelings of fear and insecurity based on old narratives with new narratives that encourage confidence and like boost me forward.
The next one I have is worrying about what other people think. It's very easy to worry about what other people think, and it really is. And I just feel like sometimes it can hold you back because you aren't being your true, authentic self. And so that's something that I really want to work on getting better at. It's just been ingrained in me since I was young. It really is. So not worrying about that. And then I want to bring in patience. Because like you said, it's easy to feel like I'm falling behind in the game of life, and just feeling like, sometimes I'm not at a certain point that I thought I would be at this age. And
expectations
once again, society. So just being patient and knowing that everybody has their own journey, and I'm going to be
okay.
I'm going to be good. I'm going to be good. So
So I'm gonna jump to mine that really relates to that, because one on my list I want to release rushing and perfectionism and replace it with leaning back and allowing things to unfold as they may, and knowing that it is my journey and it doesn't look the same as anyone's. They're all different. So trusting in the divine timing. There's also this energy that comes with rushing that is it's anxiety a lot of the time. You feel you need to get things done, you haven't prepared, and giving yourself that awareness to be able to prepare for things, and being patient with yourself and knowing that not everything happens exactly when you want it to, and kind of release, and then just trusting in the divine timing that if it's meant to be, it will be. And everyone's journey is different. So really just when you feel yourself getting in those spirals of comparing yourself, then just being aware and trying to replace it with a more positive mental pattern, just even a little bit step better than what it is. So
love that. Yeah, that's good. Third thing that I want to release is trying to control things that are out of my control. Yep. So I feel like this also pertains to this is catastrophic thinking. Always thinking,
the shoe's gonna drop.
Yeah, always expecting the worst, always going to the worst case scenario.
That's such a good one.
And it does nothing. Sure, you can feel like you're prepared, but no, it's not going to help.
It's never going to be perfect.
No.
There's never going to be a perfect moment.
No.
Make an empowered decision.
Yeah. So just trying to control the uncontrollable.
Releasing
I need to get better at that.
Yeah, it's hard.
And then bring in, this is something that I'm sure everybody could have more of, confidence. This has always been something that, I feel like I lack because of sometimes the stigma too of ADHD and anxiety. So I feel like, okay, I'm going to touch on this. My therapist recently said that, so I was telling her, how I've been having these issues of feeling like I'm not good enough because of my ADHD or my anxiety, and feeling like it's holding me back. And she asked me, she was like, Carly, so I was diagnosed with a blood condition 5 years ago, and this is something that I live with, and I know it's there, but it doesn't affect me and too much. And she was like, look at it like this. Would you consider your blood condition something that affects your character and intellect? And I was like, no. She's like, well, why should you think that with your anxiety and ADHD? And that honestly changed. Yeah, I've never thought that way about it. So I loved that, and it just
puts it in perspective.
Yeah.
Kind of like what I was saying too about my therapist being like, well, frame it a different way. How would you say it if it were a friend, or how would you look at the situation differently if you put it in a similar context? They affect you, but they don't affect everything. And you need to be able to give yourself that grace, and also take that part of the narrative out because it's not serving you. And you can be aware of how your ADHD affects you, and you can learn how to live with it and be better and be more compassionate with it. But you can also still not let it stop you and hold you back, because it shouldn't, because it has nothing to do with a lot of those things that you are looking to replace with confidence. You can still be accomplished, confident, amazing, driven person who also has ADHD, that it doesn't need to equal one or the other. So I think that's such a good example. I also said I want to release the need for certainty and control. A lot of this day and age, everybody wants everything to be laid out for them on a platter, and wants to have the ability to control things that are not in their control and have the certainty and the security, kind of like what I was talking about with this program that I want to do. Like, am I gonna follow through? Like, am I gonna fail with this? And not knowing whether or not that's gonna happen. Like, I have to kind of release that and like lean into the possibility that it could be better than I ever imagined. And I also can't control what happens after. I can only control my efforts and my attitude towards it. So that's, and I can't be certain what will come out of anything, but I need to lean into those risks, because if you don't, then you'll never get to where you really want to be in life. And so it's leaning into those things without having the control and the certainty over every little thing, you know?
Yeah. And can I just say, you're going to be an amazing life coach. Like, I already feel like you're my life coach. You seriously make me feel so much better about everything. And Meg, you're going to kill it. So seriously, be so confident, because I'm so confident in you.
Thank you. And honestly, like, this is the kind of friendships like that you need in life and that you nurture in life, because I have not always believed in myself, and I'm still working on it. It's a journey we're all taking, but like having a really good friend and having someone in your life that like believes in you means the world. Like, it makes all the difference. And we wrote each other, like, we gave each other little early Christmas gifts this weekend, and they were so like hilariously aligned, like both like very similar items we gifted each other, both like thoughtful. And like Carly wrote me the sweetest card, and like it was so eye-opening to me, because she's like, you need to be proud of yourself. Like, I'm proud of you. And I like, oh my God, she's right. I don't think like that about myself nearly enough. Like, she said like, oh, and you started a podcast this year, like, holy shit. And I was like, oh yeah. Like, I look at this and I'm like, ugh, like, it's not where I want it to be, you know? And then I like get upset with myself instead of being like, holy shit, like, that's kind of brave. Like, and it's kind of like a cool thing that I should be proud of, even if it's not like objectively like compared to all the other podcasts out there. Like, you know what I mean? I gotta not compare. Small steps.
Nobody started 1,000, 100.
I know, exactly.
Listeners. So.
I know. And I just like, I so appreciate, because I said to her, I was like, life coaching, like, I found even when I started, like, or told you about the podcast that I was starting it, she was like, holy shit, like, that is so perfect for you. Like, she's like, I've seen you do so many jobs that you just haven't been feeling, you know, like you've been trying and you've been giving your energy and it's just sucking your energy. She's like, but I feel like that's so suited to you. And she's like, and kind of like when she started with interior design, is this okay that I share this? She was like, I finally found, because we both, I feel like, went through phases of our life where we were trying different things and like trying to figure out like, where do we belong, you know? And like, she's like, when I found interior design work, I was still encountering obstacles and challenges like every job and every career path has. She was like, but I felt differently about those challenges, because they actually were things I like felt that were right, like felt I needed to go through to get to the next level and get where I wanted to be. And I wanted to grow and improve like that, where I feel like with the challenges and obstacles that you've had, she was like, they haven't really been like those same type of challenges. Like they've kind of not been helping you grow. Right. And that little light bulb to me, that truly, and I've talked about it on this podcast before, and now you know the face behind the advice. But yeah. And I think that's life coaching too. Goes hand in hand with that same.
If anybody's wondering, this is what it sounds like to hang out with us too. We have these conversations without a microphone and a camera. But yes. So yeah. I guess I'm done with mine.
I have one last thing, because I guess, okay, so I said that I was trying to release the need for control and replace it, let me say, with what I want to replace it with: faith, trust, awareness, and surrender. Like we've been saying, we really want to like be better at releasing that control and releasing those fears and need for certainty, and just kind of like trusting that all these things really have happened for a reason. If I continue to follow my intuition and do find balance and better myself, then things will work out how they're meant to, and trusting that, and like having these goals and ambitions, but also releasing them to the universe and being like, I'm going to work towards them, but like whatever happens, I know that it's putting me closer to where I'm supposed to be. And I don't know what that exactly looks like. I can have dreams, I can have hopes, but if that changes, that's how it's supposed to be, and knowing that and trusting that. So yeah, that's my final thought. Any final thoughts from you?
Yeah. Life's messy. And just trust the universe and trust yourself, and you'll get through it. Yeah. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you for coming on, Carly.
Love you.
Love you guys. And next week I'll see you in December. So this year has flown by. Crazy things, but new amazing changes to come. New cycles, new menstrual and lunar cycles, bringing great things to the universe. So love you guys. Love you, Carly. And take care. Bye. Hello and welcome. My name is Megan Lucky, and this is A Lucky Life. Come along with me as I try and get to know myself better, and hopefully help you get to know yourself better too.